I'm happy to report that I believe we're at 18 students right now, probably 12 to 15 that come on a regular basis. It's offered Monday through Thursday. 1 hour after school for, academic, study skills, test taking skills, cleaning out lockers, cleaning out binders, all the things that middle schoolers need. And then the second hour is enrichment. So we've done, we do computer technology things. We've done, Melissa Zelenek comes in and we do play for kids. We decorated pumpkins, donated by King Orchards, thank you. And we're gonna be getting into the kitchen, doing some cooking. Sarah Onks is gonna be doing some things, the music teacher. Deb McDowell's gonna do some things for art. So still kind of working on the enrichment piece, but and some kids wanna just work right through because they need to or whatever. We saw an influx after conferences, which we figured would be the case. Help, here's my kid. It's really been great though. We've seen just a lot of improvements with kids, in terms of just organization and, prioritizing things. When does this project need to be done and when should you be starting and look what's due tomorrow and, just kind of case managing things. Kids really like it. I just heard a lot of good feedback and I'm very just thankful to you guys for approving this and finding the funds for it because I think maybe Ben is the 4th or 5th superintendent that's been here since I've been here in 9 years, and I said to all of them, that was always the first thing I went and said, we have to do something for these middle schoolers. So I'm just really happy to see that that's happening and they're getting some help. Any questions? I talk fast, sorry.
Kim, thanks to you for heading it up.
Yeah, I'm glad to do it.
It's a great group you've got working with you.
Yeah. Well, and we've told kids too, some, most of the time it works out really well and the parents are on board, the kids are on board, and sometimes it's, they come in kicking and screaming, but, like I even told some of the other students, the students that maybe think they don't need it, I said, what if you're gearing up for exams? Gearing up for a big test, or there's a concept that just got introduced that you don't understand. It's not like all or nothing and you have to come every single day of every single week. It could just be on an as-needed basis, so we're starting to see that as well.
Yeah, how are you communicating that to the kids, just as you see them, or are you?
You mean in terms of the program availability?
Yeah. I mean,
well, a letter did go home to every middle schooler, and it's been, we do have a webpage, and it's been talked about a little bit on the website. We do, I actually will do something to kind of remind people that, because I know the elementary program does run, I think they really try to get everybody there all 4 days, or maybe they have to be. And ours isn't that way, so, I thought that might be a good idea to kind of let people know again that yes, we're still out here, this is still an option, and use it as needed, so.
Are there referrals then from teachers for sure?
Yes, yes, from teachers, from Quinn, wherever people start to see people, kids falling behind or
and
whatever.
And so then you call a parent or then is
Yep.
that up to the
Yeah,
teacher?
Quinn has done that so far. I have not done that. He's kind of been spearheading that and saying so-and-so starting today, I talked to mom, or whatever. So, yeah.
Good to hear too that some of the other teachers are coming in and helping out. And
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
great.
it's nice. Yeah, so Liz Washer and I we each do 2 days a week, and then Joanne Sands, our aide, is just great because she's in a lot of classrooms as an aide, so she's really valuable to that process too, so. Yeah.
Well, thank you. It sounds like it's going really well.
Yeah, it's going great. Really happy about it. Whoops.
Sorry.
That was my note that's like, time to stop. Say my bell.
All that was.
Well, Kari, we went over and saw the Veterans Day Stars. What a great project. Could you describe it to all of us and tell us
Well, it started because our K1 classrooms were doing a unit on the USA in general, but specifically patriotic symbols, and we purposely timed it to do it around Veterans Day. So that has been a lot of fun in and of itself, just doing that unit. And then I just got the idea, and I didn't really think it through too much to think about what it might turn into, but I thought, well, how about if we just, talk to the kids about what a veteran is and ask them if they know any veterans. So I thought, well, we'll do these stars, and I thought, well, I'll just ask some other teachers if they want to do it. And every teacher did. And then what happened, which was the very, very special thing, and actually very emotional, to listen to these kids come in with these stories, and not just the kindergartners, but the other students in the other classrooms as well. They would either bring the stars down to me and have a little story to tell about who that was. But I was surprised, and I shouldn't have been, but you know, what a very, very special thing it was, I think, for these families. I was telling Ben, you know, it's nice to have the stars up on the wall, but I think the very special thing was probably the conversations that took place between parent and child, or grandparent and child, and to talk about this. And I think that's so very, very important for our sense of, you know, community and family. So it was very, very, very special thing. It's been a lot of fun, and certainly, I think, a very important thing. I don't think you're too young to learn that kind of respect for your country and your family, and so it's been really
And to
nice.
recognize that freedom has come at a cost.
Yeah.
I noticed that on the board, that was emphasized with some of them.
Mhm. So we're gonna leave that up until Thanksgiving, so if you know other people like, you know, to stop by, I'm gonna contact the VFW and, you know, a few individuals just to make sure they come and see it, but, you know, if you know anybody else in the community, you know, just mention it to them, because I would hope it would warm their heart as well to see that. You know,
Do you think it's
from
something you'll
students.
continue doing every year?
Definitely. In fact, I've got some ideas for things I'd like to kind of add next year, that will kind of build on that. Because,
Well, and
you know,
some of
I've got
them were
ideas.
so descriptive, and the pictures and things were
Mhm.
just amazing.
Yeah, it was very cute, a lot of very cute stories. One little boy, well, first grader actually, as soon as I started talking about it, he said, "We have this picture in our house, but it's in a frame, it's my grandpa." And I said, "If it's in a frame," I said, you probably better not bring that in." You know, I could just see them sneaking this out of the house. And I said, "You probably better not bring that in." Well, the next morning, his mom came in with the picture in the frame, because it was very, you know, important to her that he did share this. But it was just a special thing, because he realized right away this was a big deal, this special picture that was sitting in their house. Anyway, it's very fun.
Well, thank you for doing it.
Yeah, thank you.
Moving on to old business, we have nothing.
I'll just make a quick comment. Betsy and I are both, you know, we're talking about working into getting some help for the high school kids, maybe tutoring or whatever. I did talk to the teachers and got some ideas from that. But one of the things that I was able to talk to Kari Dewey a little bit, and also to someone through Char M, and there is, she was really into this peer tutoring type thing. And so I want to really explore that. Betsy and I will talk to about that and stuff too, but it was a really neat concept that she had been introduced to, or actually very involved in downstate. So I'm hoping that maybe we can bring some of that too and see what we got. But we're still working, we're not there yet, but it's a lot of information to bring together and try to coordinate everybody too, so we haven't forgotten.
Good,
So,
thank you.
mhm.
Guest and public comment. Who would like to speak first? Mara, you're not looking at me.
See, you call it.
Don't make eye
Yeah, don't make eye contact, we're looking.
Okay, then if there's nothing, we will move on to look at the minutes from the regular meeting of the board in October and the special meeting on October 28th. You've all had a chance to look at those minutes?
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah. I would seek a motion to approve the minutes then from the regular meeting and the October 28th meeting. Okay. It has been moved and supported. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. But wait until I ask. All right, and then we have no committee reports. You've had a chance to review the expenditure logs. Were there any questions or comments? Anything come up on the expenditure warrant? Then I would consider a motion to approve the October bills as presented.
Make that motion?
All right,
Support.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Moving on to action items. We have a motion. Let's see what it reads.
I think it's this quote in the bottom right here.
Okay. The Central Lake Board of Education pursuant to the revised school code hereby imposes a summer tax levy of all annual school property taxes, including debt service for the townships of Echo, Torch Lake, and Central Lake each year until specifically revoked by the Board of Education. And Ben, would you like to explain this?
This is an annual resolution the board undertakes. We have 6 townships, 3 have a winter tax collection, 3 have a summer, and I think I've included in your packet the accompanying L4029, which is our state tax rate request form, which breaks down the tax collections for those townships. And so, we're looking at Torch, Echo, and then Central Lake. The others are Perkins and Kari.
So I would consider a motion outlined below to approve the resolution to impose a summer tax levy on Central Lake, Echo, and Torch Lake townships.
I'll make that motion.
Tracy?
Support.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. If there are no other action items, so move on to the superintendent's report.
Before I start my report, Greg, I'm going to slide this over. I've inserted Tracy Spaulding, offered by Tracy and supported by Greg. And then you or Sue, either in Sarah's or on Sarah's behalf, could just strike secretary and write the vice president to sign. Either one of you. Thank you. Taking a look at curriculum, instructional, administrative updates. Last chance for the board to get this on your calendars. The SHRM Boards Association is having its annual fall meeting this Wednesday at 6:30. It's in Petoskey. It was in Petoskey last year. I'm kind of surprised they have it in the same place, but it's at Petoskey High School. This is an opportunity for the 11 SHRM board districts, Boards Association members to get together. They typically have a keynote speaker. The topic this year is on the board's role in evaluating teachers and administration or administration members in the district. So it is, they typically have a topic that's timely with regard to legal updates and such. I expect a pretty good turnout, probably weather, if it's like tonight, probably not a pretty good turnout, but roads are pretty hairy. But it'd be nice if we could have some good attendance there. I know schedules are difficult. I will be there and welcome any of you who are able to come. If you know you're coming, I think they would like an RSVP. I think they're going to have snacks. It's not a dinner, but they'll have some hors d'oeuvres and stuff. So just let me know and I can make sure your name's on the list. Student count, school of choice revisited at least the second time. The first piece of this, I look back to the October update. At that time, so this time last month, we had 311 students. We now have 315 students. We're up 4. One of those is thanks to Michelle Ritchie, who has a new son in her home with a foreign exchange student from Germany. So he is transferred here. And 3 others have entered the elementary school in grades K, 1, and 3. Now, beyond that, because I've already heard Keith make mention of my updated attached charts that you have. We've gone back, I've shared these, Cindy's done a nice job, Tiffany's done a nice job, Michelle and Jan have looked at them. I'm hearing there's still maybe possibly an error on there, so I will hold off on saying these are completely updated and accurate, because it appears at least one of the kids is a graduate already. So if you know definitively about some of these names, please share those, and we will take a third and hopefully final crack at getting this right. At any rate, thanks for your review of those sheets. Second superintendent's community conversation will be this Friday at 8 o'clock. Thanks to Greg and Melissa for joining me last Friday at the Blue Pelican. Hopefully this Friday there'll be hunting stories and all sorts of good fun coming out of the woods, because the sun will be up and the stories will be long, I'm sure. But it'll be a good time. So if your schedules allow, I'll be at the Blue Pelican this Friday at 8 o'clock, and any board members who join me, as I offered last time, I'll buy your coffee, not your farmer's breakfast. Mike Washburn is coming. We have firmed up his visit next Monday and Tuesday, the 18th and 19th. Mike will be here one day in one building, one in the other. Staff have reserved time to meet with Mike to give him a mid-year progress report on goal area number 2, my goal of leadership. And from these interviews, Mike will be able to issue the board kind of a mid-year update, a progress report, so to speak, about things that are going well, and then identify some areas that may need additional attention. We will, after Mike's visit, we'll probably schedule a early December retreat for the board to sit down and for Mike to present his findings. So looking forward to that. And also on the 18th, and this is kind of like Kari's project. This project has started somewhat small and then has grown. I've talked to the staff and put out, right before the start of the year, a Google Doc, an electronic survey to help identify our volunteers. We've been talking about it at the board level. We want to do a nice volunteer appreciation dinner to show, show our thanks for the volunteers that help us do the things we do here each and every day. And that list started with about 12 names, and then next time I checked it at 18, and then it had 22, and now there's 28 folks who've been identified. I've been receiving calls. We mailed out letters of invitation. I've been receiving calls to RSVP, so we're going to have a nice lasagna dinner, and then I've had, thankfully, about 8 or 9 staff who've offered to make another dish to help this meal be more than just lasagna and coffee and punch. So we're going to have some nice side dishes and salad and dessert, and this will be at 6:30 Monday, the 18th, and excited to have a good turnout. So hopefully we'll have all 28 who are able to be there, and we can thank them appropriately. Moving on to finance and personnel updates. I hope I haven't been too repetitive. I've tried to have a different tagline each day about, hey, it's cold and blustery, good day to vote for your school, for Stanley Safer Schools update. There are 2 ways to vote. At first, this voting process, I think they were overwhelmed, as with many website launches. I'm not alluding to any others you might have heard about recently, but as with any website launch, Stanley's website crashed, as did their text. They had a group text feature designed to allow you to text the name of your school to 99222. And so it's pretty easy. You enter 99222 in your phone, text the name of the school, Central Lake Public Schools, boom, once per day, and you voted. You can only vote once per day. You can text it, you can email it, whichever is easier. If you choose to email, you go to stanleysaferschools.com, and you'll find, by searching for Central Lake Public Schools, you can vote that way, whatever you prefer. I think I've worn my phone out. I'm typically an iPhone fan, but my iPhone is not with me. It's broken in the other room, but I did get to vote today. I don't know what happened to it, but it's down and out. So please vote either way you can.
Ben, could you explain that to me, who aren't aware of what it is? Sure.
We put some information on the Facebook and on the website about this right before we kicked it off. Stanley Security is offering school districts an opportunity for a security makeover, really. And this is everything from alarms or updated fob or buzzer entry systems. If you're interested in camera surveillance, pretty much the Taj Mahal of all security upgrades. The winning school wins $200,000 worth of product and installation. The second place school gets $100,000, and it's a simple vote tally. So obviously, as a small but mighty district, we've got all vote because, you know, we're going up against schools that are bigger. So that's why I'm doing my
Is
daily
that for the
reminder.
state of Michigan, or is it?
It is, I believe, a regional, so I think it goes to Ohio, Indiana as well, so it's kind of I think it's a regional. So, at any rate, I've kind of made it my morning routine to text my vote, not while driving, but while sipping coffee. Bus driver needed, we do have an ad in the interim review. Got an ad posted down at the post office, got an ad on the website, taped on the window. We have had, fortunately, great bus substitutes and still have great bus substitutes. But many of our subs go south for the winter, and they're just not available in the winter time. So, you know, fortunately, Larry Essenberg, our transportation director, has helped us in a pinch. He's been driving a fair amount. Cal Shooks has been driving, Darren Dawson's been driving, we've had Helen driving. And as we've talked about it at the staff level, we recognize that we as a staff need to have more licensed and certified drivers. So Keith and I and Quinn Berry have decided we're gonna go get our CDLs and be able to help in a pinch. Keith has a specific athletic focus in mind, I believe, unless he just wants to start driving a big yellow every day, that's fine too. I would drive in a pinch, you know, if we had somebody unable to come, I could take an afternoon route or something like that, and or a field trip. And then Quinn as well. So hopefully we'll have at least a few more folks in the wings if they need to be pressed into service, but it'd be nice to have that full-timer and hopefully a couple more subs. So if you know anybody who's excited and wants to take that challenge, and you know, hey, it could even be a recent graduate, just have to be 18, clean driving record, and ready to go. So we'll train you. It's a great time of year, right? Get out on the roads in the bus. Technology update. Thanks to Steve's help this morning, we were able to correct a problem that wasn't really ours, but was affecting us. Our mail client server up at COP ESD, they had a problem develop either late Friday or early Saturday. We're not exactly sure which, but we didn't really notice it because we were able to send emails just fine. We just weren't getting any. And so it made for a quiet weekend. We all sent each other tons of emails, but nobody got any of them. And so I sent the board 3 emails, and I wondered why no one responded. I sent the board packet, I sent the weekly update, I sent all this stuff, and I'm like, wow, okay, must have been very clear, and I got no responses. And then, of course, this morning we started investigating the problem a little more thoroughly and realized, ooh, we had sent many, but no one was able to get any. So we have, I think as of about 9 o'clock had the problem resolved. So if your inbox is flooded all of a sudden, that's what it was from. Thank you, Steve, for your help. Buildings and grounds updates. Building signs have been ordered. This came about through a discussion with some visitors we've had to school, and then Darcy, our new counselor, pointed this out as well. When you show up on campus, if you're not from here, you can't tell what door is the main entrance. It's not marked. You can't tell what the business office is, you're not sure what, and there's all these doors, but no signage. So worked with some quotes to take a look at some sign options. We have 4 signs ordered for a total of $315, and that's a very discounted rate because they're painted aluminum, so they won't rust. We have 2 that are 2 by 3 foot size, and then we have some that are a little bit smaller. So 2 will designate with arrows and mark the main entrance, and 2 will designate the superintendent business office entrance to kind of help folks who are trying to come into the building figure out where they're going. Building security, kind of on the theme of what we talked about earlier with the Stanley, looking at quotes to review upgrades to the existing key fob entry system. Right now this building has a security system, and the staff have key fob entries to swipe in and to arm or disarm the alarm. It's an aging system. It's probably 15, 20 years old, and we're down to our last fob, and the system's antiquated, and it's kind of failing in some regard because the fobs are failing. So looking for some upgrade opportunities there, and working with our auditor to make sure that all the quotes we're reviewing are sinking fund allowable. As a reminder, our sinking fund, that is a local tax generated account, and that would allow us hopefully to do the majority of any project upgrade or security upgrade out of the sinking fund rather than the general fund. This building security quote also includes taking a look at a swipe entry system in the other building. Right now, the other building does not have one, and this building does. Kind of on the same theme with the sinking fund, continue to work. You know, we had a presentation, Gary came before the board and talked about the electronic marquee sign, the Mayor of Spaulding, commemorative or memorial sign. The sign company has provided a few quotes, but not final quotes, so Gary is still working with them. And as with any of these projects, we will make sure we put those before the auditor to take a look at how much of the project, if we're talking about an existing sign, if we're talking about upgrades to an existing sign, how much of that project could be sinking fund approved for a funding source, which of course would help the project along quite a bit. So excited to keep looking at all those quotes. And that, other than a quick mention, I know I've included it in a weekly update, but I'll mention it again. Thanks to Larry and thanks to Darren, we did have, on a mildly slippery road, the other day we did have a bus go off into a yard on Rushton. Fortunately, no students were hurt. We did have a couple of heads kind of hit the windshield a little, or not the windshield, but the side there as the bus kind of went into the grass. And so school nurse and Shelly and Quinn did a really nice job. They checked out all the students, interviewed all the students, called all the families, and made sure all the kids were okay. And the bus was unhurt, the driver was fine, the kids were ultimately okay. And we have a couple of shrubs to replace in the front yard, and other than that, we're going to be fine. So hopefully that's our only mishap all winter on the slippery roads. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Moving on, closing guest public comment. Here we are again. Does anyone have anything they'd like to add or ask or discuss?
You can't tell me this is the shortest meeting.
I know. It is. Mara, would you like to tell us why you guys are here?
We have to do a government assignment where we have to come to a type of meeting, government meeting, so thought I'd get it out of the way quickly.
You picked the most exciting one.
Yeah, you picked the shortest one.
The shortest one ever.
Well, for Mark's benefit, let's dive into something a little more.
You can tell your classmates to just watch the video.
Okay, if there are no further comments or questions, I will adjourn the meeting at 7:05. Nobody wants
Is that a motion? Is that a motion?
All right, thank you.
Great.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same?
Wow.
Well, thank you very much for attending.
Yeah.